428 Shibuya Scramble, or is it 428? Whatever. It just looked interesting when I was scrolling through the PlayStation Store. I saw this demo on there. I'm pretty sure it's not scary. It is a visual novel game, but it's a mystery one, and it's apparently possibly a sequel to one. I don't know. I might not put it in the description. I know it's supposedly a sequel to something. But it's a mystery game set in Shibuya, which is part of Tokyo, I believe. Don't at me if I'm wrong. So let's check this out. It's a visual novel, but it's got like real people. It's not like the kind with the cheesy anime drawings. So let's check this out. Select a bookmark to save to. That's an interesting way to put it. I guess, you know, being a visual novel, you know, bookmark makes sense. Yes, I want the guide to gameplay. What? Do you want the guide to gameplay? Sure. Now saving. Can we get on with it now? The story is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents either are products of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual persons, blah, 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 blah. Spike Chunsoft. Chunsoft sounds pretty dirty. Throw me in. I feel like I need my hat. I'm digging this music. Yeah, it's got that like kind of exciting, like funky detective music, you know. Like I should be posing, like, and not like that. It's kind love it. That's awesome.
番組の途中ですがニュースをお伝えします。新宿区オフィスビル立てこもり事件の速報です。今朝新宿6丁目のオフィスビルに目出し帽をかぶった40歳前後とみられる男が従業員数人を人質に取り立てこもりました。その後数時間経った今も男はいます。会社員の話によりますと、立てこもっている男は北島という男である可能性が高いとのことです。その男は以前からこのビル内のある企業との仕事上の取引があり、金銭上のトラブルが絶えなかったということです。今回の立てこもりはそのトラブルに端を発したものではないかとの見方が強まっています。
Nope. Nice ringtone. Okay. Okay, started now? I'm loving this so far. Shibuya's story is yours to tell. Alright. Achi? As you play through the game, the various mechanics will be explained. In 428, you follow the stories of multiple protagonists at once. Your decisions impact their experiences as you read the story. Cool. What does the day hold in store? Their fate is in your hands. Hopefully you can see them all through to the end. Well, this is a demo, so it won't get to the end, but we'll see how far we go. To start, you have two characters, Shinya Kano and Achi Indo. Let's begin by checking out Kano's story. See, he did the thing. Just 2 more minutes to go. Shinya Kano noted the time again on his watch, scowling at the slow creep of the second hand. The time was 9:58 a.m. Furrows of consternation creased his forehead. He wasn't nervous, but he knew better than to expect everything to go smoothly. Keeping a level head was proving rather difficult. There was no room for failure. Ellipses. Lives were on the line here. There's supposed to be a comma there? He eyed his surroundings. Was the perp really going to show up? When? Where would he be coming from? How would he make his approach? The Shibuya Scramble was as packed as ever. A throng of people crossing this way and that, blissfully unaware, ellipses. Ellipses of the dozens of detectives hidden in its midst. All right, another minute and a half. All that, and it's only been 30 seconds? It's been like 2 minutes of me reading this. Shoom. Kano glanced down at his watch yet again. Doesn't make the time go any faster if you keep looking at it. A mere 30 seconds had passed. Yes, we established that in real time 30 seconds ago. Detective Kano had been with the enforcement arm of Shibuya's criminal affairs section for a year now, but he'd never been part of an operation this big before. He eyed the young woman standing beside the statue up ahead. She was small enough to get lost in the crowd. She carried a nondescript attaché case. Hitomi Osawa, age 19. The attaché case in her hands contained a full 50 million yen in cash. Yesterday, her twin sister, Maria, had been kidnapped. Maria? Or Maria? I'm gonna go with Maria. This was the ransom payment. The culprit had called Hitomi last night at home, referring to her by name and telling her to wait by the statue of Hachiko in Shibuya. It was almost time, but nothing. Kano was staring fixedly at the second hand on his watch when a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk murmured just loud enough for him to hear. Come on, Kano. Quit looking at your watch so much. What if the kidnapper sees you? Kano tried to look nonchalant as he lifted his eyes, but the scruffy character continued. You're too nervous. Just relax already. You're the one acting suspicious, Sasayama. Kano frowned. Why would some homeless guy be talking to me? Yuji Sasayama was the senior officer of the division of Shibuya's Precinct Criminal Affairs Division, 5 years older than Kano. Some words and phrases in the text appear blue. These are called tips. Press square to underline a tip, then press X. This will let you read some extra info relating to the word or phrase. There are tips containing general knowledge and ones that are 4 to 8. Specific. These are marked with a magnifying glass and a 4 to 8 respectively. Shibuya Precinct. Official name, Shibuya Central Precinct. Responsible for the safety of approximately 200,000 people in 32 neighborhoods, including
Uehara, Ujisun Danicho, Udagawacho, Ebisu, Ebisunishi, Ebisuinami, Oyamacho, Kamiyamacho,
Sakuragawa, that one.
Sasuga, Shibuya, Shoto,
that one. The other one, Jinen, that one. Daikanyan Macho? Dogenzaka? Tomiga Nan Pei. You just want me to butcher these Japanese pronunciations. I love Japanese, but yeah. He always went a little overboard with the disguises. He claimed it was all part of the job, but word around the station was that he just liked playing dress up. What's wrong with that? I like dressing up every now and then. Of course, I'm an actor. Hey pal, spare some change! Sasayama lurched to his feet and shuffled in close to Kano. Hey, knock that off! Fittingly for the part, Sasayama reeked pretty badly. Might have been, We ain't so suspicious now, huh? He clung to Kano with mock camaraderie despite the younger man's attempts to pull away. Come on, Sasayama, cut it out. Sasayama's blithe confidence rattled Kano's nerves. Of course, there was good reason for that confidence. This was Kano and Sasayama's jurisdiction. The statue of Hachiko was surrounded by elite investigators of one of the HQ's special investigation teams. Sometimes there's 2 or more tips appear in a single press. Repeatedly to change which words are underlined. You wish to read, then press X to continue. Okay. To return. Yes. I want to look at the statue of Hachiko. Bronze statue of a dog erected in 1934. The dog was famous for loyally waiting for his absent master, well known as a meetup spot outside Shibuya Station. Other popular meetup spots at the station are displayed car for the original Tokyo 5000 series, commonly known as the Green Frog, and the Moyai statue by the west entrance. Kano and his partner were just there to provide backup if the kidnappers attempted to flee. Look, just try to relax, we'll be fine. Sasayama gave him a wink. A moment later, the radio squawked in Kano's ear. Alright everyone, it's time. Keep your eyes open. The voice coming through the earpiece was Koji Kuze, HQ's operations director. Until last year, he'd been the Shibuya Precinct's head detective and Kano's supervisor. We don't know when the perp is going to make contact. Don't let your guard down. Kuze's low, gravelly voice echoed in Kano's ear. Good call there. You don't sound too worried, Kuze. Kano winced at Sasayama's words. How could the man be so nonchalant? I mean, look at that face. The appointed time had come and gone. Something should be happening. Whop! Kano smacked himself in the thigh to release a little tension. The sound was louder he intended, though the suit hid his
muscular physique.
It did little to dampen the noise. He needed to stay focused. He might be called to action at any moment. The department handled abduction cases according to certain standard investigation procedures. Was it an attempt to extort money, or was the motive something personal? The answer to that question determined how they'd deal with the criminal. And based on the investigation team's initial findings this time around, they probably weren't dealing with a professional kidnapper. Still, in all likelihood, it was someone with quite a long rap sheet. Probably someone who knew the family, but so far they had few leads on who might bear such a grudge. With the situation so unclear, the plan was to apprehend whomever came to make the handoff in sight. If the culprit ran with the money, there'd be no guarantee of the hostage's well-being. Still nothing. Sasayama muttered.
There he is. He's here.
Kuze broke in, his voice spiking into an excited chirp. Why is that underlined? Kuze's particular voice quirk. Whenever he gets overly flustered, excited, or panicked, he slips into a childish register, prone to babbling and pitching his voice. Oh, so it's more like, it's him! Okay, got it now. Subject is a young man in his 20s, wearing a bandana and an orange hoodie. Snake? Kuze, normally calm and stoic, was now squawking like an excited child. That only happened when he got particularly worked up. Kano and Sasayama steeled themselves. They could see the subject now. A 20-something male nonchalantly approached Hitomi to talk to her.
Put on your headset. Set your note on your headset. Set your note on your headset. Set your note.
Sorry, I got a phone call and interrupted mine. I'm back. They could see the subject now. A 20-something male nonchalantly approached Hitomi to talk to her. All right, people. Be ready to grab this guy. Kuze was stationed in the mobile command center, not far from the intersection, keeping tabs on the situation via video surveillance from the camera team. The young man started speaking enthusiastically to Hitomi. The detectives watched, uncertain, was this really the kidnapper? That's gotta be him. Oh, I get to choose. You'll encounter sections like these during the story. These are choices that will change the lives of other people in addition to changing your own fate. Use up and down to make your choice, then press X. The current choice will not impact you or any of the other protagonists. This is the... Alright. Yes, that was him, alright. Kano took a step forward. Hold it, Sasayama yanked him back. Don't be so hasty. But, just watch for a minute. Sasayama gestured with a nod. With Hitomi steadfastly ignoring him, the young man slunk away. Guess it wasn't him. Kano felt the tension of the moment linger in his spine. Guy must have been hitting on her, Sasayama muttered. I mean, she is pretty cute and all. He had a point. Though, of course, something in Sasayama's voice made Kano brace himself. She's got nothing on Michan. Oh yeah. Michan was Sasayama's wife. They'd gotten married just last month. Let me tell you, Kano, married life is the best. You gotta hurry up and give it a try for yourself. This was Sasayama's favorite topic lately, and Kano was getting more and more fed up with it. Sasayama, come on, just knock it off, okay? The phrase had become a common refrain of his since the department partnered them. Fine, fine. Let's talk about your girlfriend then. Huh? Now, you can't be serious. Sasayama leaned in close again. What's she like? We are not having this conversation, Kano muttered, looking away. Aw, come on. Sasayama set his hands on Kano's chest, still playing the homeless troublemaker. Show me your phone. Let me see your lock screen. Huh? Sasayama pawed for the phone. You got a pic of your girl on your lock screen, yeah? I do not. But he did. It was scary how on the mark Sasayama's instincts were. Hey, cut it out. We're in the middle of an investigation. I am investigating, Sasayama chuckled as he plucked the phone from Kano's pocket. His face scrunched up with astonishment as he looked at the lock screen. The heck is this? It's not. Ain't this Masami Nagahama? Kano realized he had to bite the bullet. No, that's my girlfriend. Her name is Rumi, and she's the villain in Perfect Blue. That's what she is. Sorry, spoilers. Sasayama cut him off. You're telling me this ain't Masami Nagahama, the famous actress, because this right here is Masami Nagahama. Like I said, you sly old dog. Trying to make like you're dating Masami Nagahama. I'm not. I mean, I guess Rumi does kind of look like her. Sasayama let out a huff. For real? You really think I'm gonna fall for that? There's nothing to fall for, I swear. Sasayama scowled, unconvinced. All right then, why don't you marry her? Kano stammered. He had no answer. The truth was, he would have happily married her already, but there were obstacles that needed to be overcome. Okay, playtime's over. Let's focus on the job. Sasayama handed back Kano's phone and turned his gaze back to Hitomi. Kano let out a quick, uneasy sigh. But his shoulders did feel looser. Maybe Sasayama had been trying to relieve a bit of the tension. Maybe he should be grateful. By now, several minutes had passed since the guy with the papers had gone away. He peered at Hitomi. The strain on her face was visible. In addition to the weight of the attaché case itself, the 5,000, 10,000 yen bills it held weighed close to 6 kilos. Her slender arms must have been getting tired. Still, she refused to set the case down. She wasn't taking any chances with her sister's life. The kidnapping case had begun the day before, at around 7 p.m. This is MPD Dispatch. The Shibuya Precinct is reporting a missing person believed to be an abduction. Subject is Maria Osawa, a 19-year-old student at Midoriyama Academy, had been seen last at the LL Diner near campus. A man was allegedly seen forcing her into a car nearby. All officers in the vicinity report to the scene at once. Kano and Sasayama had been working a burglary case in that place's 5th district when they got the call. The two arrived at the diner at 7:15 p.m. At roughly the same time, several other officers showed up to secure the area, blocking off entry to nearby roadways and monitoring the surrounding establishments. Sorry, I don't know why I just did that. They look very different now. Inside the restaurant, Kano and Sasayama were met by the girl who reported the kidnapping. It was the victim's twin sister, Hitomi. Could you tell us about when Mario was taken, starting from the very beginning? Kano said, keeping his voice low. My sister and I, we were supposed to go to a party together today. Hitomi was trembling, her voice hoarse. But I messed up the time. I showed up right at 7, an hour later than I was supposed to. So, Maria had gone alone to the party. a mixer for locals and exchange students. Hitomi, arriving late, had showed up just in time to glance out the restaurant window and see her sister getting shoved into a car. She described the vehicle as a blue station wagon of Japanese make. Why? Why would something like this happen to her? Aliens! Hitomi held back her tears, but she was shaking all over. Did you get a look at the kidnapper? Yes, it was a man, middle-aged. Like that middle-aged man standing beside you? There was another eyewitness, Leland Palmer. The white guy did it. He identified himself as a lecturer at Hitomi and Maria's school. I saw too. It's like Hitomi says. I heard Hitomi cry out, and so I went to the window to look. And his Japanese was halting as if he hadn't been in the country very long. And I think that maybe the kidnapper was working alone. He sounds very suspicious, just the way he's talking. Leon explained that he'd seen the man shove Maria in the back seat, then clambered into the driver's seat. If he had an accomplice, wouldn't they have been driving? Neither Hitomi or Leland had gotten a look at the suspect's face. Well, you can't see your own face. Kano was interviewing others who had been on the scene, looking for other potential witnesses, when his phone rang. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the senior detectives. We've set up a task force for the investigation. Get back to the station once you've handled the situation there. Barely half an hour had passed between the time the kidnapping was reported and the time the task force began operation. When Kano and Sasayama got back to the precinct station, Kuze had already arrived from HQ. He informed them that a response team had been formed to investigate the victim's home. Kano could feel a peculiar tension in the air. Unfamiliar MPD detectives scurried to and fro around the Shibuya office. He pulled one of them aside to get a quick update. An hour had now passed since the kidnapping. There had been one new development. The perpetrator had made a threatening call to the victim's home. He said the following.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m., by Hachiko Shibuya. And the sister, Hitomi, bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit.
Kajiwara from the precinct was put on the response team along with detectives from elsewhere who'd received special training in abduction cases. A guy's eating a banana. This the time to eat a banana? Normally, a local precinct detective wouldn't have gone undercover in a victim's home. Kuze, however, had decided that having a knowledgeable local was crucial and had sent Kajiwara along. The detectives disguised themselves as delivery people and movers to make their way inside without arousing suspicion. Arriving there at 8:30, the response team had come prepared to run a trace of the kidnapper, contacted the family a second time. But there were no further calls. Kano checked his watch again. 20 minutes had now passed since the time designated for the ransom handoff. The kidnapper had yet to appear. Crap. You think you might have spooked him? He wondered aloud. Hey, stay calm. Sasayama scanned the passing throng. He's just playing with us. Why'd this guy even pick this place? Kano voiced the question he'd been asking himself ever since he heard the kidnapper's demands. Sasayama shrugged. Figure he must want to blend in with the crowd, nab the money, and disappear before anyone knows he's there, would be my guess. In that case, why not pick Shinjuku or Ginza? The big crowd didn't just benefit the kidnapper after all. It also allowed the police to use the sea of people to conceal their own operation. Right now, there were 50 detectives stationed within a 50-meter radius of where Hitomi stood. The kidnapper would be taking a major risk if his plan was to nab the ransom money and run. That's what bothered Kano. Any criminal with half a brain would know better than to do a handoff in front of Hachiko. You're overthinking things, pal, Sasayama grumbled. No, I'm not. Kano reached into his pocket and pulled out his notepad. This was Kano's dick diary. Which he always kept close at hand. Sasayama rolled his eyes. That thing again. Kano ignored him, flipping through the notepad pages. Aha! Here it is. I know what it means, but it's still funny. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. It was a favorite saying of Kyuzo Tateno, an assistant inspector from the Shibuya precinct. Tateno was the kind of detective Kano aspired to be. For the current operation, he'd been placed in charge of Hitomi's personal safety. He was in position to defend her as soon as the ransom had been handed off. Of course, Hitomi hadn't been informed of how much protection she was under. There was a risk if she'd acted too secure it might alert the kidnappers. I think Tateno has the right idea. Sasayama snorted quietly. Maybe. I mean, he's a great detective. Don't get me wrong. But you know how many irrelevant things there are to consider? Again, Kano ignored him. It didn't matter if nobody else understood. Kano had faith in Tateno as both a detective and as an individual. He had first witnessed Tateno's brilliance during a standoff in the financial company 3 years earlier. A man had shut himself in an office, splashing gasoline everywhere and threatening to set the place ablaze. While the others hesitated, Tateno unflinchingly doused himself with gasoline and strode into the building, where he managed to talk the man down and secure the scene. The others had been awestruck by Tateno's actions, and Kano, who at the time had been content to be a run-of-the-mill policeman, had found it quite inspiring. Did they allow run-of-the-mill policemen to have long hair? I mean, I can understand detectives, they usually get away with stuff, but still, you know? Sasayama murmured under his breath. As great a detective as Tateno is, it's not like anyone else in the world has ever heard of him. I suppose not, Kano said, so... Only time anyone ever hears a cop's name is if he's caught up in some scandal or killed in the line of duty. Is that banana again? I mean, doesn't really seem fair, does it? Kano just shrugged. It was a strange definition of unfair, really. I mean, you've got celebrity chefs, celebrity hairdressers and stuff, so how come no celebrity gumshoes, you know? For a second I thought he said, "Bitch, please." Can you just focus on what we're doing here? Kano rubbed his eyes, then turned his attention back to Hitomi. What's the matter? Didn't sleep? Not enough, I guess. Did you eat? Didn't have time. Between bringing in supplies for the base of operations, readying the team's vehicles, photocopying hundreds of documents, and various other tasks, Kano had barely slept the previous night and hadn't gotten a meal in either. What have you been doing? Sasayama puffed out his chest. Saving up my energy for today. So you were sleeping. Kano gave a wry chuckle at his partner's lack of shame. Kuze's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. A man in his 20s wearing a sleeveless red jacket. He's carrying a garbage bag. Looking pretty tough. Got some fly hair, though. Young man had emerged from the crowd about 15 feet from where Hitomi was standing. He strode toward her, a sinister look on his face. He didn't match Hitomi's description, but Kano felt a jolt of nerves at the same time. Maybe the kidnapper had hired some young street punk to snatch the ransom payment. That our guy? What do you think, Kano? Sasayama whispered. Yeah. Think he's got to be. This was it. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. Bent his knees, ready to act fast. Blood rushed to his leg muscles, banishing the stiffness that had begun to take hold. Could this be the culprit? Or perhaps... The young man tried to snatch the briefcase from Hitomi, but she clung with desperate strength. It was him. The detectives rushed in. Whoa, hey, what the hell? The young man cried out frantically and tried to dart away, but the officers closed in, forcing him bodily to the ground. Boldly, bodily, same thing. Target secured. Oh, jeez. I think we got another suspect on the scene. He's taking the ransom. Kuze's hysterics made Kano spin around. Sure enough, a foreign-looking man was sprinting away, attaché case in hand. The mob of detectives scrambled to pursue. Before Kano could react, most of them had run off, leaving him to look after the original suspect. Just chilling? What should I do with this guy, sir? Might have some connection to the kidnapper. Should I bring him in? Huh? Oh, sure. That'd be swell. I'm on it. With the help of one of the remaining detectives, Kano brought the suspect back to the Shibuya precinct. Look, how many times do we have to go through this? Cut the crap. In the interrogation room, the young man who gave his name as Achi Endo steadfastly insisted on his innocence. Why'd you try to steal the case? Kano watched Achi's face intently. Like I said, it looked heavy, so I was just trying to help her out. It wasn't inconceivable that a young guy would want to help a pretty girl, but Hitomi had just been standing there, hardly in desperate need of assistance. She hadn't set the case down, so I figured there had to be something important inside. Entry from Kano's Dick Diary shot through his mind. Dick Dictum 25. When the tongue slips, grab it and yank out the truth. Classic advice for a question. Something important, you say, such as? How the heck would I know? Achi spat. He huffed and slumped back in his chair. The standard textbook back and forth had been going on for nearly an hour. Kano didn't mind. Chasing down criminals was all well and good, but questioning suspects was another key part of the job. Plenty of the off-scene work went into cracking a case. Once again, he had Achi explain what he'd been doing, starting from the beginning. When Kano finally emerged from the interrogation room for a short break, he learned that there had been some progress on the case at the crime scene. What the police hadn't been able to determine yet, however, was whether or not Maria was safe. Fighting back his anxiety, Kano consulted his Dick Diary.
Dick Diary.
Dick Dictum 54. Haste makes waste. He felt his tension subside, remembering the right maximum always helped. Right maxim. It was like casting a magic spell. Kano returned to confront Achi once more. You were there to act as a distraction to mess up the investigation, weren't you? Huh? Achi looked a bit dumbfounded. What are you on about? Dick Dictum 55. The truth hungers to be free. You hungry? Got some katsudon if you like. Let's see, what's katsudon? Japanese dish consisting of a bowl of white rice topped with breaded pork cutlet and egg. Sounds pretty good. Where the egg is replaced with... Wait, there are variations such as sauce katsudon where the egg is replaced with Worcestershire sauce. It's always a weird word to say. Worcestershire. And miso katsudon where the pork is stewed in miso. Not typically the sort of thing a policeman offers a suspect during an interrogation. This could be seen as baiting with food and is to be avoided. Achi nodded silently. Achi devoured the bowl of katsudon with gusto. He looked like he hadn't eaten in a while. That's cilantro? All right, then spill it. What's this guy after? Achi shrugged. He murmured, a thick slice of egg-laden pork between his teeth. How many accomplices do you have? Kano asked. But Achi just shook his head as he inhaled his food. Resignedly, Kano flipped through his notebook once more. Dick Dictum 115. Use the lights to your advantage. As the minutes ticked past, he found himself referring to this book again and again, trying a dozen different methods to tease out whatever his suspect might be hiding. The experience began to feel strangely surreal, their two voices echoing hollowly in the interrogation room. Eventually, Kano looked at the clock and realized that questioning had been going on for nearly 5 hours. He still hadn't made any headway. What was he supposed to do next? Tatena would know, but he sure didn't. Still, he was determined to do whatever he could to keep the victim and her family safe. Gritting his teeth in frustration, he perused the Dick Diary like it was scripture. Number 116. The monotonous questioning was clearly tiring Achi out. His eyelids drooped like they were beginning to get heavy. Number 117. Get them when they're tired. Kano's eyes gleamed. You're part of some criminal gang, huh? Achi's head slumped forward heavily. Nodding off was basically the same as nodding yes, right? That face. Mr. Kuze, I did it. The young guy we grabbed at the handoff site, he finally confessed to the crime. What? What are you talking about? Kuze laughed in disbelief. We're just about to apprehend the mastermind here. Huh? Kano clutched his cell phone, dumbstruck. Listen, why don't you, look, just wait there at H2, okay? No, it can't be. After the kidnapping case wrapped up, Kano tendered his resignation. Guess I'm not cut out to be a detective after all, he thought to himself. He dropped the Dick Diary on his desk as he left the Shibuya precinct for the last time. Bad end. Kano wound up at bad end. However, this does not mean that the choice you made for Kano was the wrong one. One of the other protagonists, Achi Endo, has an impact on Kano's fate here. You can avoid a bad end by making a proper decision in another character's story. For a detailed hint, check the tip by underlining the bad end title. Hint, Kano had every reason to suspect Achi Endo, but arresting him turned out to be a mistake. If Achi hadn't approached Hitomi, this wouldn't have happened. Try playing Achi's story and make a choice that keeps him from going up to her. If you do that, Kano won't even have a chance to arrest him, and things should play out differently. That's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty cool mechanic. I'm gonna end it here. I don't know if I'll try to do the other ending. This is just the demo, so I don't think it's gonna go much farther. But this is actually really interesting. I didn't realize it was gonna take as long as it did, and there's not really that much I can cut out of it. But thanks for watching. Next time, there might be more of this, might be more of something else, who knows? Be on the listen and be on the lookout for Random Ninja Attack.